Hey guys, today we are breaking down a huge what-if scenario from Brand New Day. Could Peter Parker be turning into Man-Spider? A brief moment in the trailer shows his eyes going fully black, and that is something that often signals a deeper mutation, a Man-Spider transformation. So today we will uncover what actually happens when Peter Parker transforms into Man-Spider from Marvel Fanfare, issues 1 through 2, and make sure to stick around because I will share my final thoughts at the end on how this could tie into Brand New Day. If you are into deep dives like this, make sure to like and subscribe. Now let's get into it. The story opens with Tanya Anderson, a woman with a complicated past connected to the enigmatic Karl Lykos, also known as Sauron. Years ago, Tanya got lost during a dangerous expedition, and Karl rescued her, but the encounter left him changed forever, after a pterodactyl bite forced him into a predatory struggle for survival, feeding off others' life energy. In the present day, Tanya tracks down both Peter Parker and Warren Worthington, hoping to enlist their help in reaching the Savage Land as she needs Warren for his ability to fly and guide them safely, and Peter for his skills in navigating unpredictable dangers. Her mission is urgent, as Karl once thought dead is alive somewhere in the prehistoric wilderness, and Tanya is determined to find him despite the perilous journey ahead. The Savage Land is no ordinary jungle. It is a hidden prehistoric world brimming with life that predates humanity. Initially, Warren resists, reluctant to risk himself for what seems like a doomed quest. Tanya shares her personal history, revealing her deep bond with Karl. As a child, she had been saved by him, and her father had welcomed him into their home after tragedy struck Karl's family, and over time Karl became a gifted but unconventional physician. Yet he lived under a hidden curse. To survive, he had to absorb energy from others, and the constant drain eventually warped him into Sauron, a creature neither fully man nor fully beast. Tanya recounts that Karl's curse led him into tragic choices as he attempted to kill her father, battled the X-Men, and ultimately fled to hide from the world. Tanya herself left home, cutting ties with her family and serving in the Peace Corps across the Andean highlands. But despite her efforts to move on, she carries guilt, believing Karl's transformation was her fault. If she had stayed, perhaps she could have helped prevent his fall into darkness, and her story adds an emotional weight to the mission, making the stakes intensely personal. Meanwhile, Peter Parker is approached at the Daily Bugle by Robbie Robertson and J. Jonah Jameson, who insist he return to the Savage Land for a new story. Peter has already faced life-threatening dangers there, including a deadly encounter with Gog, and he is understandably hesitant. Yet the promise of fair compensation and the threat of Jameson's notorious pressure pushes him into agreeing. Alongside Warren and Tanya, he joins the expedition unaware that this adventure will push him to the limits of both his skill and his humanity. The Savage Land itself looms as a character in its own right, hidden beneath Antarctic ice. It is a lush, dangerous jungle populated by dinosaurs and ancient creatures, some of which were placed there by powerful unseen forces. The area's history is intertwined with figures like Magneto, making it a place of both natural wonder and lingering peril, and as the team approaches by helicopter, they are suddenly ambushed by a massive dinosaur and the aircraft crashes, forcing Peter and Tanya to parachute to safety, while Warren soars above, scouting the terrain, though rescue is possible. Tanya refuses to turn back, insisting they continue their mission. Nightfall in the Savage Land amplifies the dangers, and the group seeks shelter amidst the alien terrain, while Peter attempts to maintain caution and Warren's keen eyesight and instincts alert him to an extraordinary sight. A shattered futuristic city hidden in the valley below. The ruins are remnants of Garrok's ambition, a once reincarnated being whose rule nearly destroyed the Savage Land. This city, perched atop geothermal vents, hints at the ancient conflicts that continue to shape the region, reminding Peter that even this hidden world is governed by power struggles far beyond human comprehension. Before they can fully investigate, they are attacked by savage inhabitants. Former followers of Garrok, now loyal to a new leader, and Warren engages them in combat. But something is wrong as his senses begin to fail. Meanwhile, Peter struggles with whether to reveal his Spider-Man identity to Tanya amidst the chaos. When the group is forced toward a cliff, Peter makes a split-second choice to save Tanya, shoving her into a river below, before changing into his Spider-Man costume to fight. Even with his abilities, he is quickly overpowered by Barbarous, a brutal four-armed warrior far stronger than expected. captured and restrained in a hidden laboratory. Peter awakens alongside an unconscious Warren. Here, Brainchild, a genetically altered mutant, introduces his team Barbarous, Amphibious, and Vertigo, whose disorienting powers destabilize their enemies. Brainchild explains their plan to use a modified genetic transformer, once Magneto's technology capable of devolving living beings into primitive versions of themselves. Peter and Warren become the new test subjects. A horrifying turn that threatens to transform Peter's altered DNA into a monstrous spider-like form. The infamous Man-Spider. Could such a transformation happen during Brand New Day? Absolutely, that period of Spider-Man's life was defined by unpredictability, constant danger, and the relentless pressure of balancing his responsibilities as both Peter Parker and Spider-Man. Just as the movie adaptation teases, Peter's powers are evolving in ways he cannot fully control, and the possibility of his body reacting in extreme, unexpected ways. Like the Man-Spider mutation is a terrifying extension of those stakes. A Man-Spider scenario literalizes that hidden peril, Peter's heroic role, comes with the potential to physically and psychologically distort him, turning his greatest strength into his most frightening vulnerability. In the trailer we already see hints of this evolution, with Peter's organic webbing forming spontaneously and subtle changes in his physiology, along with the shot of his eyes completely black like the Man-Spider, imagining him pushed to the breaking point, forced to confront a primal, animalistic version of himself makes the Brand New Day story feel viscerally real. The Man-Spider transformation is more than just a mutation. It is the ultimate metaphor for the era's themes, isolation, identity, and the heavy toll of responsibility. Just like in the comics, he would be torn between the monstrous instincts overtaking him and the human soul desperately clinging to control, a battle that could define his very survival in a world that never stops demanding more from Spider-Man. Now, as the machine hums to life, Peter struggles to retain his humanity. Despite his heroic resolve, Vertigo's powers and the machine's effects cause his senses to spiral out of control. Thoughts fracture, speech falters, and the primal instincts of his spider-altered body begin to dominate. Layer by layer, his humanity is stripped away, replaced by raw animalistic impulses. In the fleeting moments before losing all control, he recognizes the horrifying truth. The scream he hears echoing in the jungle is his own. Elsewhere, Ka-Zar, the protector of the Savage Land, and Tanya regroup with Karl Lykos, who survived in the hidden wilderness. Tanya learns the citadel they discovered was built by Garruk and Zeladan, previous conquerors of the region, and the story reveals that Peter, Warren and Tanya have unknowingly stepped into a conflict that has simmered for years, a battle of power and survival rooted in the Savage Land's secret history. Just as the full implications of Brainchild's experiment become clear, Peter and Warren reemerge, transformed beyond recognition. Peter has become the terrifying Man-Spider, a nightmarish fusion of man and arachnid instincts. Warren, likewise, is devolved into a bird-like monstrosity, and his cries echoing across the jungle as he attacks indiscriminately. Tanya watches in horror as Ka-Zar is thrown to the ground, pinned by the monstrous Peter. Yet beneath the surface, Peter's consciousness fights to regain control. For a fleeting instant, he pulls himself off Ka-Zar, horrified by what he has become, and retreats into the jungle, leaving Warren's chaos behind. In the aftermath, Ka-Zar, Karl, and Tanya attempt to assess the damage. Many are wounded or dead, and the remaining forces are insufficient to take the fight directly to Brainchild. Ka-Zar discovers a piece of Peter's costume, realizing the terrifying creature he faced was once the hero they knew. Brainchild captures Tanya, intending to subject her to the same devolution. Then chaos erupts as Karl launches a desperate rescue. Confronting Brainchild and risking transformation himself, the Man-Spider, torn between uncontrollable violence and residual humanity, ultimately acts to destroy the machine, halting the irreversible process. Though the device is destroyed, Peter remains trapped in his monstrous form, begging Ka-Zar to end his life, but Ka-Zar refuses, insisting that there is always hope for redemption. Karl, understanding the connection between energy and transformation, drains life energy from the victims to restore them. Risking his own return to Sauron, Tanya, Peter, and Warren are saved, but Karl succumbs to his monstrous form as feared. Sauron escapes into the sky, leaving a tense warning of future conflict. Peter, Warren, and Tanya are rescued by a helicopter, marking the end of this chapter, but leaving the terrifying memory of what could happen if Spider-Man's humanity faltered. So in Brand New Day, what if the story goes in a much darker direction, and Peter Parker did not just struggle with responsibility, but lost himself to it? Peter could be pushed further than ever before. The same pressures that has defined him balancing responsibility, risk, and sacrifice start to take a physical toll and something looks to be changing as per the clips we have seen in the trailer, and his powers could start to evolve and not in a good way. As the story unfolds, Peter could slowly transform into Man-Spider, a terrifying mutation that represents everything he fears about being Spider-Man. It would be no longer just about saving people. It is about whether he can even control himself. This transformation would isolate Peter completely, and no one would truly understand what he would be going through. To the public, Spider-Man is still a hero, but behind the mask, Peter looks to be fighting a losing battle against his own instincts. This version of the story leans heavily into the idea that his greatest enemy is not a villain, but what he is becoming. Brand New Day could also explore the blurred line between science and mutation. Diving into the Mutate-Verse's mutant dynamic and Peter's condition becomes a symbol of a world where powers are not just gifts. They are unpredictable, dangerous, and deeply personal, because in the end, this is not just about stopping Man-Spider. It is about saving Peter Parker, and would he find his way back? Or is this the version of Spider-Man that goes too far? Let me know your thoughts below. Do you think this could actually happen, or do you have a different theory? Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.